Welcome to Koyoung here at SMTA Guadalajara. Delighted to be joined by Ramon Hernandez. So nice to see you, Ramon. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Trevor. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Okay.
Always good.
So you're basically head of sales really for this region in Mexico. How has it changed over the years down here?
I will say we changed to direct sales and service in 2015 in Koyoung, and since then it has been growing.
Right.
Continuous growth. The industry is changing a lot here. So yeah, it's very positive.
So back in these days, so of course that you were really servicing tier one contract manufacturers, the high volume guys. But it seems to have changed a bit over the last couple of years.
Yes, it's been changing. You know, Mexico is known because of high volume, big EMS companies, but over the years we have seen a lot more of the mid volume, low volume, high mix companies coming here with a lot more specialized products. So that's been a good change, a good shift that we've been having in Mexico over the years.
Right. And do they take a different approach to the inspection equipment?
I will say they put a lot more weight into the quality, into the SPC, into the data analysis. It's not that the big guys are not doing it, EMS, but with this high volume, they put a lot more effort and attention, I would say, probably is the right word.
No, the high volume guys, they set it up once basically and leave it.
They put it there, they leave it, they have their dashboards, and it's much more easy for them to track than these other segments.
Yeah. So obviously you've got a fairly big installed base down here. What sort of support do you have down here in terms of service engineers and
Yes, in total in Mexico we have 19 service engineers.
Wow.
We are located in all the, let's say, strategic cities where there's manufacturing.
Okay.
All over Mexico, border town, center of Mexico, South Mexico. So we've been able to do this over the years, have this big service organization, and that's been part of the success for Koyoung in Mexico.
Right. Now, of course, Koyoung is universally known for the SPI systems, but you've also brought in some new machines like the Meister, the conformal coating inspection and these types of things. Are they also popular down here?
Yes, do the type of Mexico, we are a big installation base for automotive. And with EVs nowadays, the processes or the inspections that they're doing through all the assembly process, it begins SPI, AOI, and then we are seeing a lot of conformal coating, a lot of through-hole inspection, and we have products for all those processes. So yeah, we've been seeing a lot of these new, let's say, challenges, processes, while before it was just SPI or AOI. Right now we are seeing a lot of more inspections into these products.
To these areas, okay. Now, one of the other things that have been happening recently, you mentioned earlier, was the amount of inward investment coming in from Asia. Can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing there?
Yes, I will say for the last 2-3 years, Trevor, we have seen a lot of companies from Asia, Taiwan, China, Korea, that are opening companies or branches in Mexico. And something interesting is that these big companies are not going to the traditional cities, right? So you know, Guadalajara, Chihuahua, Monterrey. So they are going to other cities in which the electronic industry is not so big, like these, let's say, pockets, Guadalajara or Chihuahua, Monterrey. And that's diversifying a lot the territory, I would say, in Mexico, and the talent. It's
it becomes more challenging.
Challenging in where they go and install in cities where are big for wire harness, for metal joining. Now we have electronics there, and then they have big challenges getting people, getting talent for the SMT industry with the knowledge for that. those areas.
Yeah, I can imagine. And one of the other things that I believe that they're doing is they're also going for best-in-class equipment, where they traditionally would use cheaper Chinese equipment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's true. We have seen a shift in this because, let's say, some of the segments for these companies, let's say, are mobile computers, and maybe it's not needed to have a high-end equipment. Maybe an entry level is good and it does the job. Mm-hmm. But with all these, I said, new technologies, EVs, new demands from the customer and needs to have better quality, we are seeing a lot more opportunities in these companies that traditionally it was very difficult, challenging to sell our equipment.
Yeah.
And right now there's much more aperture that they have to co-own in these companies.
But I think and a lot of that's driven though by the OEMs. It's the OEMs that's specifying that they have to buy best-in-class equipment.
Yes, they are specifying that, and also they specify in which process they need to have inspection. Like I mentioned before, it was SPI, post-reflow, AOI, you're good. But now you have SPI, pre-reflow, post-reflow, and then you have THT inspection, final inspection, conformal coating inspection. So yeah, that's driven a lot for the OEMs and the higher, I would say, higher standards in quality that we're seeing nowadays.
Yeah. Okay. Final question, Ramon. You also mentioned that as a result of the U.S. CHIPS Act, there's a lot of inward investment coming in for the semiconductor industry, but it seems to be migrating to the south of the country. Yes. Why is that?
The last couple of years, we have seen in Mexico big challenges with water, for example, in which not only for the electronics, but in the north part of Mexico, there are big companies that they produce beer, drinks, sodas, whatever.
Right.
And also due to lack of rain, it's been very challenging. So the government has been, let's say, motivating companies to open a little bit more to the south part of Mexico, because we don't see a lot of big industries there. Electronic, for example, we don't have a lot of over there. And we have a lot of water south of Mexico. So usually there's a lot of rain for some reason south of Mexico. So I think with the OSAT companies that are coming, we will see that the territory in the industry itself will grow a little bit more to the south than to the north part of Mexico. So
the Silicon Valley for the semiconductor industry is going to be in the south of the country?
I think so. I think it will be from the middle part of Mexico to the south, where we're going to see a lot of this investment, a lot of these new companies coming into Mexico.
It's fascinating. Well, Ramon, I want to thank you for telling us a little bit more about the character of the electronics industry down here in Mexico, and
thank you.
Wish you every success for or continued success, should I say.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Trevor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.